Welcome, folks. You're listening to the Waves on the Shore podcast with Evan and Jaron, quite possibly the greatest podcast of all time. Thanks for joining us as we journey through the world of modern country music.
We're not biased, we just don't like bad music.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Waves on the Shore. Hosted by myself, Evan, and my co-host, Jaron. It's currently 10:03 p.m. It is currently Saturday, March 25th when you're listening to this.
It's just... Oh, okay.
Sorry, let my co-host catch up here. He's a little slow up in the head.
Well, you said that... Okay, hold on. That's not on me, because you said what time it was, like, currently, and then you proceeded to say a different day. So that's not on me. That's on you.
You just gotta catch up. You gotta know when the page is flipping.
You're like one of my many ex-girlfriends. You don't communicate well. You know. And well, yeah. No homo.
No,
but
it's okay. You can be gay. This is a safe
I'm not
space.
gay. I'm just appreciating my homie's
beauty,
physical appearance. Yeah.
Outright beauty. Well, yeah. Welcome everyone to brand new episode of Waves on the Shore. We got a few things lined up here, as well as the usual. Who the frick and what are we listening to? I could share a quick story time first, but there's no way that Dell is telling me to upgrade my storage on the screen I'm trying to record. You're gonna want to cut that out.
For a second, I thought that I thought you said Adele.
No. This is
I was like, huh? I was like, Adele's there.
I sent a massive pop-up. You're gonna want to cut. All
right.
I have a bit of a story to open up the podcast. I was at a John Mayer concert, and not just any John Mayer concert, John Mayer solo. Jaron was gonna be with me, but American passports are dumb, and they take a really long time to arrive. So
I still haven't gotten it. So.
Yeah, so unfortunately Jaron cannot come, but we'll get something set up eventually. But anyways, it was a fantastic show. Kind of he played for like over 2 hours, which not many people do, and it was really dope because it was like all acoustic or piano, just solo. I have to recount the night in order quickly. So I go to my brother's. He is the show is in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena. Couple hours for me. So anyways, I drive to my brother's house, and because he's closer, we get dinner, but we realize because we have to catch a train, the GO train, from Aldershot, which is a station, to Union, which is the main station in Toronto, which is attached to the arena and everything. And so we're making dinner, and we realize, oh Nelly, we have not allotted ourselves enough time. So we are barreling around his kitchen trying to make any food we can, because he wanted to make pork chop, but we did not have time. So he made the pork chop. We had noodles and rice on the side that were horrendously undercooked and hard, but we were in a rush. And then we go barreling down the highway towards the train station. I don't know how fast my brother was going, but we were passing cars left and right. And I was like, okay, we are in a rush. Anyways, we get to we're coming up on the station. You can see it from the highway. And the train's there. So Blake's like, actually, what's the next station? So we are now racing the train to the next station. And I'm like, Blake, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, I spent a lot of money on these tickets. I'm trying to see this show. And we go flying down the highway. And we pull in at the next stop, which was Burlington. And I gotta turn my mic down. I'm clipping. Burlington. We park the car. We get out, and we are sprinting full tilt through the parking lot. We get into this station.
Tilted Towers, Fortnite.
Sorry, exactly, bro. We started shooting people. Just kidding. We're in Canada. So we go barreling in. Neither of us have been to this station before, so we don't know where we're going. So we're running through like these concrete tunnels, and like I don't know what train stations are like other than the GO train, but like there's multiple tracks. So like you go up, so it's all underground, or the tunnels are, sorry, and then you go up to the track that you're on, right? But we don't know where we are. So we go up the first flight of steps, realize the train is parked on a different track. So we're like, shoot back down the stairs, sprint across, go up, realize we overcorrected. We went too far. The train's on the other side. Sprint back down the stairs, go up the next flight of stairs, and literally like a movie, we're like running in as the doors are shutting. We made it onto the train. And we got to the show, got there, got in the merch line, once again fumbled the bag with the sizing. I'm incapable of getting the right size at shows. At Giveon in November, something told me to get a small t-shirt. That doesn't fit me. That never would fit me. So I just have a Giveon shirt I can't wear. And for some reason, I was paranoid of this. So at the John Mayer concert, I got a large, which is too big. Why I don't just get a medium? That's a fantastic.
Why don't you just get a medium?
Fantastic question. It's just motivation for me to either get in the gym or get a dad gut. It'll fit me. Fit me one day.
I actually remember you talking about that, and I have experienced the same thing. And as far as like buying things too small, like my Zach Bryan shirt, I don't really wear it because it's a small.
Like, why did I get a large? Well, I can tell you why I got a large, because I get large hoodies now. But it's not a hoodie, it's a t-shirt. I don't know. Yeah. The worst case scenario, it'll fit me when I'm older. But I'm just, when I fill in more, but I'm just like, really, Evan? Why? I can never just get the right size.
What does the shirt look like?
Oh, I guess I could show you. Well, I can't show listeners, but that's just the game's the game.
Yeah. I'll describe it to you. I'll whisper in your guys' ears verbally. Oh, he's leaving.
It's a nice shirt, too. Like, I want to wear it.
Oh, he's back.
So it says John Mayer Solo, Tour 2023. Okay. And then, look, it even says nice Scotiabank design. Arena, John Mayer 2023 Solo. Like, I want to wear it, man. It's not horrendously big, but it's too big. Like, you know.
Now, for viewers, just so you guys know, it was all words. There was no pictures.
Sorry, I can tell you were saying something, but I was putting it back.
Well, I'm talking to the viewers, Evan. I was talking to the viewers, helping them picture the shirt. I was kind of disappointed. It's not a bad shirt. I was kind of disappointed that there wasn't like a graphic. It was just black and white and...
No, there's teal and stuff. It's all
There
font.
was teal?
It's all font. Yeah, there's teal. Okay. It was like black and
It looked white, I guess.
Maybe the lighting is bad. There was like 10 different shirts you could choose from. That was just the one I liked.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway.
So get better taste.
What?
So you need to get better taste.
You need to shut up. We go in and we get our seats, and we have pretty good seats. And opener is JP Sachs. Opener was supposed to be Lizzie McAlpine, but due to scheduling conflicts, she couldn't come out, which broke my heart. But the opener was JP Sachs from Toronto, and he was great. He was really good. But it was funny because like halfway through his set, sorry, Jaron is showing the camera his gummies before he eats them.
I was hoping you wouldn't acknowledge it.
Okay, I'll stop acknowledging it. Halfway through JP Sachs' set, he says like, you know, the whole thing with this tour is that it's solo. So there's only one person on the stage at a time. However, this next song I wrote with somebody, and the person who I wrote the song with is here, so I'm going to invite them on the stage. And you got to remember, because it's the opener, everyone is still just in their, like, everyone's still shopping around. Like, the arena, right. The seats themselves are like a third full. But we were in our seat by then. So anyways, he's just like, yeah, so the person here who I wrote the song with is here. So I want to welcome to the stage John Mayer. And John Mayer just walks on the stage. Everyone freaks out. You can see, and like, you know, doesn't wave.
It's the first song.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first song. It's the opener.
No, it's not even John's set though. Like this is JP's
Yeah,
set.
yeah. It's like it is the opener.
Yeah. And
like
so,
I mean.
Anyways, he doesn't say anything
That's pretty
or
cool.
wave or acknowledge the crowd. He just plugs his guitar in, and you can see when he said that, like everyone's pouring into their seats now. Like people are like sprinting through the tunnels to get to their seat and everything.
That's a good way to get.
That's
to get
what
attention.
I think it was. I think it was John saying, "Hey, like pay attention to the opener I brought for you." And they did the song. John just played guitar and harmonized. He didn't even have a verse or anything. And then he just walked off. He just walked off. It was so funny. It's like, all right, see you soon, I guess. And then, yeah, so he came out at like 8:40. came out to Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, and it was so dope because it was acoustic. And like
That was the I have an interesting relationship with that song because that song was like one of the first songs that I heard. Like I knew who John Mayer was, but I heard that song and I was like, that was a damn good song. And then I figured out, and then I was like, whose song is it? It's John Mayer's song. I was like, okay, I need to actually listen to more of his music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I didn't know we were on that level. But it was awesome. And then he did the next two songs were two of my favorite John Mayer songs that I did not think he was going to play at all. So he played Shot in the Dark and then Emoji of a Wave, which is a super unpopular.
Oh.
It's like a really.
That's a pretty deep cut.
Yeah, it's an unpopular cut from The Search for Everything, which is one of his more unpopular albums. And I was just like, oh. So when he started playing that, I was like, okay.
It might lend itself to a solo performance.
It definitely does, but he made this set list for me. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then
my king.
Yeah. he did a bunch of songs. It was friggin' awesome. Everyone loved.
Dude,
Fly
okay.
Georgia.
I gotta do it soon. We gotta get a John Mayer cardboard cutout. One of us has to do it.
We do need to do that.
I'll do Mr. Worldwide if you do John Mayer.
We'll work it out.
I'll have to hide it from my mom. She'll be like, "You spent $60 on this?"
But yeah, he did piano songs too. He did one part where he got like his electric guitar, and he like had the piano loop, and then he was soloing over the piano loop he made. And then there was one point in time where he was playing the piano and playing the electric guitar. Like he'd hit a chord, solo, hit a chord, solo, hit a chord, solo, like in real time. And it's just like, how are you doing this? There's one point where he's playing the piano and just using his left hand on the guitar, pulling the strings enough to make them sound. And I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? He was so good live. Like, I can't describe it. And then, like, the last few songs, he whips out this monster of a guitar, 18 strings. It's an acoustic guitar with two necks. The top neck is a 12 string. The bottom neck is a 6 string. And so he is playing between the necks. Like, he'd do a little solo here, little chord solo here, little solo here, some chords here, solo up here, back down here. And he had the harmonica around his neck. So he's going back and forth between different necks of the guitar while playing the harmonica. I'm like, dude, you have too much time. You have too much spare time. How?
Well, it's his job. It's his job to be good at music.
Dude, how are you this good? He did Stop This
He's
Train.
that good because that's all he does.
He did Neon. Neon was friggin' dope. And he was really funny too, like explaining all the songs and stuff. He was just a funny guy. But he said like, all right, boyfriends, this is where I try and win you over. This is my little party trick. If you're not impressed by this and you were just dragged out by your girlfriend, I'm sorry. This is the best I got. And he said how like he wrote it for when he was playing like in coffee shops or bookstores to try and get people's attention because the guitar line is so complex. And he said he never actually knows how he's going to start the song. Every time he plays it, he just kind of riffs around until he's had enough and decides to start playing the actual song. So we got our own custom Neon riff to start it. What else did he do? One girl had a sign with LED lights around it. So he's like, oh, your sign has lights on it. And he read it. And they were asking for Hotel Bathroom Song, which I guess I had to research after, is a song that he wrote but never released like 15 years ago. He's like, how do you even know what that is? He's like, I forget how it goes. But he played like the first verse and chorus and then he forgot the rest of it. So he just started like improvising, singing about the girl's sign. And it was really funny. And then, he ended with the 12-string or 18-string Madness. He played... Oh, dude.
I wish I could have been there, man.
It was a night to remember. I can't lie. He closed with Edge of Desire.
Oh.
I love Edge of Desire. And, like, hearing it live, I've listened to it, like, 9 times in 2 days now. Just because, like, now that I've heard it live...
Now you just need more of it.
I need more of it. I'm like, that is one of his best songs. It's so good. Someone had a sign that said that song is how they met their fiance. I don't know how that works, but cool. And yes.
They met on a Reddit forum talking about that song, and I don't know. But weirder stuff has happened.
Yeah, exactly. So. So anyways, I was researching around, and I found someone... like set up a tripod or something and recorded the whole concert. on their phone and posted it on YouTube. And so I downloaded it and saved it onto my hard drive because I think that's a really cool keepsake. I have like the entire concert downloaded now, and I can like watch it and stuff, and I can hear all the jokes again. And I'm gonna show my kids. I'm be like, I was there. I was there. I was at this show in that crowd, laughing at that joke, cheering at that song. And yeah, then I got home and I was like, well, I have to troll. So.
How late did you get home after this?
Well, we got back to my brother's at like 12:30, and so I just left the next morning.
Oh, okay. Okay, 12:30 is not that bad.
Yeah.
When I went to see John Party, we didn't get back to, and I didn't like actually get to my bed until like 2 a.m.
Well, yeah, I didn't fall asleep.
And we had to drive 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more than 2 hours. And then on the way back, like after the concert ended, we didn't actually like leave the venue for like an hour because of how bad the traffic was. Like we just couldn't get out.
That's the benefit of the train is we just got off and left.
Yeah, and you can just zoom.
We were just gone. But yeah, I posted some pictures, and my caption was Taylor could never, not gonna lie. And
where'd you post them on?
Oh, not on my main account, because there was like videos and stuff. We didn't actually really get pictures from it. But yeah, I posted and captioned it, Taylor could never, not gonna lie. And I got some people riled up, and it was fun. And I had some people like responding to my story with throwing up emojis. I'm like, shut up. And so one girl comments. One girl I know is a huge Swiftie, the target audience of this post.
Right.
Says, you're right. Taylor would have 20 times more people attend. She could never do a little tour like this. To which I responded, she'd probably emit 20 times the carbon too. And because they like that. They like their environment stuff. It got pretty silent pretty fast down there. Dude, I was like, I wasn't snapping, like, I wasn't on my phone during the concert other than, like, the occasional video here or there. But you better believe I was sending...
That's what I do, I'm not getting on social media. I might record
a video.
I did record all 8 minutes of Freebird that John Party did. Like, if he's playing Freebird, I'm recording all of Freebird.
Fair.
That's it.
But, yeah. Like, outside the arena and stuff, I'm just... All the people I know that are diehard Swifties just snapping the merch stands of John Mayer and stuff and just... my goat and everything, just because they're so... The thing is, it's like a bully, right? I am a bully. And if you don't give me a reaction, I'm not going to spam you with John Mayer stuff. But it's the fact that you act like it's a personal attack and that I have just, like, killed your family by mentioning John Mayer's name. Obviously, when I go to a John Mayer concert, you're going to get absolutely, like, unleashed upon with John Mayer pictures. So, yeah. I'm a nuisance, and I love it. I'm proud of it. But Swifties need to grow up, man. Y'all are like 40 now, and you still can't grow up.
Well, they're all ages. They're everywhere. They're all over
That's
the
problem.
spectrum.
They're powerful, man.
Yeah.
There's like societies. There's like Swiftie
Well,
societies at every Canadian university.
They have this mob mentality, They're dangerous.
Realistically, push comes to shove. Right. If
you get a Swiftie alone, if you back one into a corner, they're weak. But
that's what I mean.
If you let them get in their numbers,
But let's be honest here. A war breaks out between the Swifties and the sane people, right? The sane music fans.
and the sane people.
Like the Swifties are not winning a single.
Where are the Kanye fans during all this? Where are the Kanye fans?
We know what they're doing in a war, if you know what I mean.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh man.
They're off on the side doing stuff behind the scenes. We should move on.
Doing side quests.
Speaking of side quests, right? On the train back, there were two guys who were just like talking about the concert, and they were going so in depth about everything. I'm like, did you not just enjoy the show? Like, they're like, oh yeah, man, but like when I saw him a few years ago, man, he did like a really similar solo on the guitar. Like, I don't know, is he just like running out of things to play or something? Like, and then I was like, maybe it's just like a preference of the riff he did there. I'm like, you struggle to play a G chord, don't lie.
Did these dudes look like they enjoyed music, or did they look like nerds?
They looked like nerds, I'm gonna be honest. But I'm just like, dude, why would you pay so much money for a concert? You just, what?
Maybe they're like big guitar nerds.
Maybe. So I shouldn't judge. But they were talking about how he went pop instead of blues, which is true. John Mayer did choose to go in a poppier direction instead of like hardcore blues. But I do think there are like Continuum is like a blues album. Like, you know, there's plenty of blues out there.
But he touches a lot of genres.
He does. He goes all over the place. But it was when they started talking about money. So these two guys on the train, they're there like, yeah, like, I mean, you know, he obviously went pop instead of blues. I'd say for what? Like, I'm just going to throw a number out there. I bet 10 million. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, you guys are trying
I'd bet 10 million.
You know what you're talking about on a GO train. 10 million.
Wait, so
what? Like 10 million is what he made more than he would have made if he stayed blues. And I hate to tell you,
I'm sure he's made more than $10 million over the past decade.
Look, with how touring works, I'm betting he's making substantially more than 10 million for this tour. Yeah. So I think it was just one of these moments where I was just like, you're not that guy, pal. Pull your pants up. Like,
you're not that guy, pal.
I was just, and me and my brother just looking at each other trying not to laugh. Like, what are these guys on about? But it was really funny.
I mean, yeah, you're going to meet all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And, well, actually, me and Grady talked about this when he was here. Well, not like that specifically, but like, we kind of talked a little bit about, I won't get like super into it, but like, we talked about some people, like when you look into a comment section, you have all kinds of people, and you get like the person who thinks they're the main character, and they're like, just saying a bunch of things, and they're all upset, and you're just like, who asked?
No one cares.
And so it's like, Grady likes to he would say that those people think they're the main character, or he was calling people NPCs while we were eating dinner, which I thought was hilarious. There's a lot of NPCs
on the internet though, dude. Like,
yeah, there are. There's a lot.
You know what I saw? Yeah. I saw something that was actually really funny. It was a dude at an NBA game, and he was just like, we're all just NPCs to these players' my careers.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that at the John Mayer concert, too. I was like, I am just a complete NPC filler character to his journey as a musician.
Yeah. But what if you're an NPC at that moment, but what if, maybe it's not you, but I'm sure somebody else in that crowd is maybe going to get famous and meet him one day. You know, that many people at a concert.
That'll be me.
Maybe. It could.
I'm the next John Mayer. Maybe I already am.
And you just don't know it. In about 10 years, you'll date a girl whose name rhymes with Taylor Swift, and she'll be like 12 years younger than you. And it totally won't be weird and sketchy. And then you definitely won't have a really bad breakup that divides both of your fan bases apart.
But notice how my fan base is going to be the good one. You know?
Right.
She can run off with the runts, man. She's free to do that. I don't want any part of that fan base. I'm sorry. Like, if I was Taylor Swift, I'd probably quit.
I'd quit.
I wouldn't tour. I'd tour exclusively for non-Swifties, man. Here's the thing, right? I like Taylor Swift just as much as the next person. I just am not going to sacrifice my life for Taylor Swift, but it's really fun to make fun of the people who will. And so that's where I live. I live in this place of really enjoying Taylor Swift and also loving to make fun of her fan base because I think it's an absolute joke. But
yeah, I'm actually, the more I've thought about it recently, I think I don't know if John Mayer is necessarily better, but I think I enjoy his music as a whole more.
Yeah.
than Taylor Swift's.
I would agree. I think it comes down to
but
just the relatability of being a dude. Like, naturally, I'm more...
I think maybe that's part of it, but there's just some albums that I don't like that Taylor has made.
That, too.
And John Mayer doesn't have an album that I dislike. Yeah.
And let's be honest, right? Taylor didn't make Stop This Train. On the flip side, John did not make Betty or August. That is fair.
That's also true.
Taylor cannot play Neon. Right? This is where we
Taylor
get
probably
muddy.
can't play a 12 string guitar but also it has a second neck that has 6 strings, so it's actually an 18
Hence
string guitar.
my
with 2 necks.
caption, Taylor could never not gonna lie.
Taylor could never not get a lie. That's so good. I love that.
All my stuff is so like back of the wow, there's like 3 phrases I went for there and just couldn't pull a single one.
Well, you're just trying to start shit.
Yeah.
It's
All
funny.
my comments are so like backhanded, and it's really funny to watch.
Evan doesn't hide from the smoke. He runs towards it.
Dude, I fully embrace it. Like, we didn't really get a good picture at the concert. We didn't really think to do it, but like,
Sure.
had we had a good picture, I unapologetically would have posted it to my main account with all of my followers, which probably has a lot of Swifties that I don't even know are Swifties. But I would find out, because I was going to caption it something like, you know, at Taylor Swift could never, or like Swifties where you at, or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're so fun to make fun of, man. They're so useless.
Useless? Oh my goodness. Evan's just personally attacking all the Swifties out there.
Nah.
They're good for nothing.
Oh, my neck's hurting now. Why has that happened?
Yeah, calm down, Evan.
Transition
easy,
while I
Chief.
fix my neck.
All right. Well, speaking of dudes that make good music, why don't we discuss
Bloody
Muscadine Bloodline and their newest album, Teenage Dixie, which came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago now at this point, but we didn't cover it last episode because we kind of wanted to just kind of focus on Morgan on that one.
Mo Wallen.
And this album was interesting enough that we were like, let's talk about it. Yeah. So here we are.
Here we are doing
discussing it. Yes. What? You're making a face. What is that?
Well, it's just like we said we're going to discuss it, and then neither of us.
Oh yeah, neither of us going. Well, why don't you go
We're
first?
gonna discuss it.
Yep. All right, you go first.
So I really like this album. To me, it's a very like solid listen. I don't mean so when I say background music, that's often an insult.
Tough.
I don't mean background music as an insult in this instance. I think this is great background music. I think this is great, solid, neo-traditional country music with like a garage band like vibe to it. That is great. It'll play great in a lot of social settings. But when you focus on it, there's quite a bit to unpack too. It's not like it's hollow background music. It can work both ways. And I think that's one of the strengths. Like, it's very playable, very replayable. As for my favorite moments, I mean, Me on You. Come on.
Yeah,
like
it's still
maybe the best one on the album for me. Although there are some contenders. This is a pre-release as well, but Inconvenience Store I really like. I do need to talk about one thing, though. So, for some reason, because I'm on Apple Music is doing this thing where it has Me on You and Evan Rudin downloaded twice. So, like, in my library, the album is 18 songs long. It literally goes 1,
It's
2,
only supposed to be
3.
16.
Yeah, I know, because it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, it's downloaded them twice, and every time I try and delete the duplicate, I show up the next day and it's back. I don't know why he's doing that. But anyways, that was bugging me.
Steve Jobs has come back from the grave, and he's a big Muscadine Bloodline fan. So much so that he wants those 2 songs to be downloaded twice.
Fair enough. They're
You know.
both good songs.
Yeah. I actually really I think Evan Rudin is like... It maybe might be my favorite, excluding Me on You.
Me on You is just such a like...
It's
such a rare
it's just so
instance
fun.
of when a song is literally just perfect. Like, you know, that you can't get a bet. They couldn't have done that song better. And that's what that is. My other favorites,
Yeah.
I'd say Devil Died in Dixie. I think it's a really dope song, especially with the little monologue.
It is cool, and there's the interlude monologue thing. Yeah,
Jaron can't talk. And then
I can't.
I do like the 2 closers, Knife to a Gunfight, Shootout, and Saraland. I like those both, and I kind of just like how it goes from like knife fight to shootout. I don't know, something about me just kind of likes that those are
Knife to a
back.
Gunfight, Shootout in Saraland. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think it's like just a solid, very replayable, very likable, very shareable album. Like I feel like this is one that you could send to people and they get on board with pretty fast.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jaron?
Well, after having listened to it probably at least 4 or 5 times now, I think the thing that's actually kind of stuck out the most is that after their last album last year, Dispatch to 16th Ave, was a little bit more like straightforward, like traditional, like kind of like Texas country, I feel like. And then
They're
this
Alabama boys.
This one is almost a blend of that album and then the album before it, Burn It at Both Ends.
I hear that.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although I think it leans more in the Burn It at Both Ends direction. It's a little bit more like punk rock almost sometimes in terms of just how the vibe and the sound and like the energy.
Yeah.
Like Teenage Dixie kind of feels like a countryified pop rock song, and the Teenage Dixie, and it also just the name is kind of reminiscent of Teenage Dirtbag, and it's like it just I don't know, it feels punky, and well, that's a good thing because I really like Burn It at Both Ends. I like Burn It at Both Ends more than Dispatch to 16th Ave,
Which I still think is a crazy take.
It might be. I don't think
I'm gonna be honest.
I think there's some really good songs on Dispatch to 16th Ave, but there's just some maybe a lot of it's because it reminds me of like it might be nostalgia, like the sound. It might just like hit the right nostalgia notes, and like Burn It at Both Ends, Drunk Tattoo, Here Goes Nothing, Wrong Side of Goodbye. There's just a bunch of really good bangers on that.
And like
Oh my
maybe
God.
I'm the crazy one, but I still Dispatch to 16th Ave is still my favorite Muscadine album. Not by a mile, but like I don't have to think very hard to say that it's my favorite.
Okay.
Which speaks highly of their discography so far. They have 3 really good albums, but I prefer
I probably need to
Dispatch.
revisit that album if I'm being honest. I really like the title track, Dispatch to 16th Ave, but the only other song I really like remember is I Dying for a Living and then No Pedal Steel, and then I don't really remember anything
Still
else.
Too good.
That is a good song.
Dead on Arrival, Bangs, The Toll.
I also, yeah, Teenage Dixie. I think I do like it a little bit more than Dispatch. Not that Dispatch is bad. I think I just really, yeah. I think it's just that kind of pop punk like rock vibe, and it's kind of this really seamless fusion with this like a country sound.
Yeah.
And they do it really well. They're so charismatic and
it's
likable.
the country like palette, but the attitude is very punky.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. And like you said, it's a cool blend that they pull off very well.
I really like Pocket Full of 90s Country. It has a lot of energy, but that's
got the
also
groove, but I almost found that like not corny, but I don't know. That wasn't one of my favorites. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't like gone like super deep into the lyrics of that song, but it just seems fun.
Oh,
So,
it is.
Made Her That Way is also really good. Me on You is really good. The first 6, even 7 tracks, that's a really good run, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The first 7 tracks. I really like Evan Rudin, Crying in a GMC. Inconvenience Store is so fun. It's so fun. I really like it. And it reminds me a lot of, actually, a movie that has some ties to country music called Hell or High Water, which is great, and it's potentially a movie that we'll cover on the pod. In that movie, actually, they play a Chris Stapleton song, Outlaw State of Mind, which is really just, it has a fat guitar lick in it, really good. But it reminds me a lot of that movie because that movie involves robbing, like, the 2 main characters are criminals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're robbing stores and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. I think that song in particular is really well written.
Yeah.
There's some humor in it, and it's also still kind of like, I don't know. It kind of gives you mixed feelings in the same way that maybe, like, crap.
Are you looking for Wait in the Truck?
Yes, Wait in the Truck. I'm getting tired. It's 10:40. I'm an old man.
It's 10:39.
Similar feeling to Wait in the Truck in the sense that, like, Wait in the Truck is definitely a little bit more ambiguous morally, kind of like, how should I feel? But with Inconvenience Store, you're following the 2 characters, and they're obviously not great people, so it's like,
Yeah.
there's a similar feeling there.
The one detail I love in that song is when,
Is it when he goes, "Why'd you have to say my name?"
Why'd you say my name? Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which name they were saying, but which one do they say?
I think he says Gary's name.
Yeah, and he's like, "Why'd you say my name?" And I love that little
Why'd you-
detail. It almost makes it feel lived, the way they know, the way they know what to do. Also, speaking of, like, crime, right? I was
Okay. Okay. Interesting segue. Continue.
So I was leaving work today, right? And as many of you know, I work at a home sense. And so we have a pickup door where people come to pick things up. And we're closed. It's dark. It's a dead plaza. Like, I'm going home. And as I'm driving home, I realize, that's a full briefcase tucked on the side of the door. I'm like, and I know the community I'm in. I'm like, right. So that cannot, someone didn't forget their briefcase tucked on the side of a pickup door of a plaza that is closed on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So anyways, I went to loop back
Wow.
to tell my manager, like, hey, I don't know what we want to do here. But, and anyways, as I'm driving back to the front of the store, I see, there's now a cop parked in our parking lot. And I'm just like, that's mighty strange. And he's facing the other way, but he has a rear view mirror. And so I'm like, the cop will handle it. So I, like, loop around. And now I'm worried the cop thinks I am, like, checking. Which maybe
Sure.
he is. Maybe my house is going to get raided. Then, as I'm going back and driving, like, I go down the side of the building, and I'm going to turn right to go to the road and leave. Because left, if you turn left, it's just, like, empty, like, concrete area where the trucks unload and stuff. Like, it's just garbage bins and stuff. And I see, there's just a vehicle waiting behind our building. And I'm just like, this is nothing I want to get involved with. So I turned my music up and went home. But I was like, something is definitely happening here. So that's my story. But
Oh, wow.
if it was money, maybe I should have taken the briefcase, to be honest.
Just run up, take the briefcase, and run
Yeah,
away.
bro. If there's
You'd be in a little bit of trouble if it was, like, hard drugs.
so that's the problem, right? If I
Yeah.
if I
You open it up and there's just a bunch of cocaine.
pros
Yeah,
and-
that's an issue.
Pros and cons.
Pros.
One, I take the briefcase There is a cop watching. There's a bunch of cocaine and meth. Because we have a meth problem. So I now have a briefcase of meth. Well, that's not great.
Right.
However, on the flip side, if I take that briefcase and it's full of cash, I have not committed a crime. Right? There is no law against taking a briefcase of cash. Like, if there's a $20 bill...
You just found it.
I just found it. Maybe I nabbed it from a drug lord who's going to come after me, but I may have just made $10K. That's a pretty good tip.
Yeah.
So was it...
Pretty good.
Would it have been worth it to test my luck, take a 50-50, and see which end of the deal I'm picking up?
Spin the chamber.
Even though there is a cop watching.
Play a little Russian roulette.
Yeah, because if it's drugs, well, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
If it's money, well, I just made it. Yeah.
Well, I guess what you should do is walk up to it, try to open it, and if it's drugs, then just run away. Maybe don't take the briefcase immediately.
Oh, yeah. Go up, take a peek. If it's money, grab it. If it's drugs, leave it. Cop comes up to me. Why'd you leave that briefcase? Well, I don't want drugs
in it.
There's drugs in it. I don't want the drugs. Or alternatively, there's money in it. Why'd you take the briefcase? There's money in it.
Because there's money in it.
You know? Shoot, maybe I should have done that. I probably would have got shot, but
Yeah,
you know.
it's probably better.
It's not a
that you
scene
did
I'm
not.
trying to get myself wound up in. Not a
Right,
web I'm
right.
trying to get spun in. Anyways, that was my side note of crime.
Well, I'll finish up giving my thoughts on this album. So I'm gonna be honest.
He's gonna be honest, guys.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not honest often. You know, I lie to you guys a lot. I'm a bold-faced liar. I found myself not having a hard time paying attention towards the second half of the album. Like, just because when you start making albums that are like more than like 11 or 12 tracks long, it's like they're less digestible just because like they're so long. Like, you know, I mean, it's not like a Morgan Wallen album, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the songs at the beginning better than I do at the end. Now, that being said, I think I like Azalea Blooms,
Yeah.
but I just know that like I would turn on this album to listen to it, and I'd probably get like through the first 11 tracks, and then I'd pause the album because I had to go do something, and then I wouldn't finish the last 5. And that probably happened a few times. So it's just like, I just hate long albums.
As for album length, because I've been thinking about it for a bit, I feel like, because there are some albums that are like over an hour long that I have no issue with. Whereas there are some albums that are like 48 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is too long. And I mean, it does come
Sure.
down to the quality of the music. Is the length justified? Does it actually need to be this long? But I think
I don't mind this one's length. I just think in general, usually, even if the album is good, I just prefer a smaller album.
here's my thing.
Like-
With country, I generally want smaller albums. And I think it's because like with country music, the songs are going to be 3 to 4 minutes, right? They're going to be this, they're going to be that. It is a more structured, I would argue it is 95% of the time a more structured genre than something like R&B, right? Where they can kind of bounce all over the place. That neither is better or worse. They're just different. But I'm saying, like, you can only have so many individual 3-minute acoustic country songs in a row before you kind of start to get tired. Because on the flip side, like, I would look to Blonde by Frank Ocean, right? That album's an hour long. Yet it flies by me every single time I listen to it. But, you know, it flips back and forth. Like, here's a 30-second interlude. Here's a 2-minute phone call from his mom. Here's a 6-minute super all over the place synth song. Here's a...
Yeah.
Like, it flows differently, and I think the long short song interlude thing helps it flow along better. Whereas I feel like in country, since the songs are generally more structured, since you're not gonna get, or you're less likely to get like a phone call from a mama interlude or any big drastic changes like that.
Sure.
I feel like naturally they lend themselves to shorter albums. Nothing to do
Yeah,
with the quality
I
of
don't
music, just the
disagree
length
with
of the
that
project.
point. Mm-hmm. No, you bring up some good points there, actually, and I would say I probably do agree with that for the most part. It's hard to, I don't know, for me it's hard to kind of put into words. I think it just kind of, I think some of it is genre, but I also think sometimes just how an album ends up getting put together. I don't know. Like some of them work for me, some of them don't. Like one album that's a decent length. Like I have the deluxe version of Divide by Ed Sheeran, and I really like that album. And I'm pretty sure the deluxe version is like at least like 16 tracks or 17 tracks long, which isn't like a horribly long album by modern standards, but it's still not a 10-track album. And that's one album I can throw on and I can listen to every song and be like, yeah, this is solid.
I also think it comes down to the
But also-
environment. Or sorry, you keep
Yeah.
going.
Well, and that being said, I've been listening to that album for like, I think it came out in 2017, so like 6 years. This album's only been out for 3 months, so it's like maybe this is one of those albums. Maybe I just need to keep trying to listen to it.
Yeah. I think one thing also is like the setting in which I'm listening to this music. Like when I listen to country, or this lends itself more to like a more ambient style of like R&B or folk that I like. If it's late at night and I just want to vibe out, or if I'm going to watch a sunset or something, right? I want to sit in that moment for a bit. I don't necessarily
You'll put a little 6ix9ine on, right?
Yeah, get the baby bump. No, but I'll put on like a.
It got the sticky up.
That's where I want like an album that flows from song to song, and it is a bit longer because I'm gonna be here for a minute, and it gets a little atmospheric and it goes all over the place. Whereas country, I'm generally gonna be listening to like when I'm working or when I'm driving or when I'm just trying to have a good time. Or, I mean, there's obviously environments in which I'm listening to country music in a sad setting or a more reflective setting, obviously. But
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I like my country albums shorter, and I feel like the more vibey, the more atmospheric you go into the folk or R&B area, that's where I want it. Like, come on, give me a little more. Let's not cut ourselves
Sure.
short here.
I think just across the board, I want shorter albums. I don't care who the hell you are.
But if Frank Ocean dropped a 3-hour album, I wouldn't complain.
What I'm not against is like dropping an album that clearly is like two kind of like things, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and actually Dangerous is kind of this way, because while it is technically a 30 or 33 track album, it was originally just 30 tracks, and it was kind of split halfway through the middle. It was like disc 1 and disc 2. One thing at a time is not like that. So
No, one thing at a time is just a monster.
But I feel like there's some other. I think Cody Johnson's Human was kind of split apart, maybe.
But not really,
Like-
man. Like,
I could be wrong.
it was just an 18-song album.
No, it was just 18 songs.
It was advertised as like having a side A, side B, but I'm like, dude, it's just an 18-song album. Like,
Now, I will say, as far as country albums go that are 18 tracks long, I think that's
one of the better ones for sure.
one of the best
That
ones.
album
Yeah.
kills it. I wouldn't want that to be any shorter than it is, and that album's over an hour long as well.
I love that album.
It's all situational. When I'm talking about album lengths and stuff, it's all situational. I was just making general statements. Like, generally speaking, this is the rule. Maybe Cody's
Sure.
the exception, but
But I guess we'll kind of wrap this up on the Muscadine
Old
Bloodline
Muskie
part of
train.
this. I really like this album. I guess I kind of get my general thoughts, but just to recap, I think Teenage Dixie is kind of in the mid as far as their 3 LPs that they have. Teenage Dixie would be number 2. Burn It at Both Ends would be number 1. And then Dispatch would be like right behind this one, right behind Teenage Dixie. I don't know what number I don't know, probably like a 7 out of 10 for this one. Maybe it's like 6 and
I thought you were trying to work out which number Dispatch is in your order. I'm like, that's number 3.
That's number 3. Sorry.
I was like, how are you stuck on this? But then I was like, oh, he's talking about what do you rate the album?
Yeah.
My bad. Well, yeah. Muscadine Bloodline album. Very good. Do you want to take the reins for old Dierks?
Sure. I'll do Dierks.
Because I'm going to be honest. I meant to get around to this album. I still haven't. So.
Oh, you just haven't. Okay.
I have not gotten around to the Dierks.
I have. Well, I'll just talk about my relationship with Dierks Bentley.
Ooh,
first
is
off.
it romantic?
I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was. You know.
Look at that hair.
Like I'm not. Now. Honestly, I don't know. It's kind of interesting my past with Dierks because my kind of. I've always, just with his catalog, it's always just been, I know all of his popular songs, and I've just never really gone and listened to a Dierks album. I think one time, probably like 4 years ago, I listened to The Mountain, like once, all the way through. But I couldn't, like, besides Burning Man and Woman Amen and Living, which were the 3 singles off of that album, I couldn't tell you. And besides the title track, I couldn't tell you another song off of it. But I've heard from people that's a great album. So I guess all that to say is that like I've never really been like a Dierks guy, and that's nothing against him. I really like most of the songs that I've heard by him actually. Like I actually feel like he's usually pretty consistent in terms of quality. Now there is like Beers on Me's pretty lackluster, you know. But, like, he's got some decent stuff. And also, it was brought to my attention recently that his name is Dierks. And you might be saying, Jaron, of course his name is Dierks. You dummy.
Did you think it was Dirk?
No. What I mean by that is, like, I've always known his name was Dierks, but I never, like, really thought about it.
What?
Because that's just like a really interesting name. Like,
what kind of point is this? His
name is
Dierks. And I never really sat down and thought about that.
Well, Dierks is just a really.
His name is Dierks.
It's a really unique name, and his last name is Bentley. So like, it's just like not a lot of people have that last name either. So it's Dierks Bentley. It's a really unique name. His name isn't like Chris, you know, or like Bob. His name is Dierks.
Bro, Bob,
you know what I'm saying?
Catches so much smoke, bro. The name Bob it's the go-to.
Or even Joe, like average names.
Yeah.
Like Dierks is just not average, is I guess. I don't know. It's just I find him to be an interesting person, and I find his name very interesting. That was brought to my attention because I was listening to a song in the car this past Friday, and my sister was in the car, and she was like, "That guy's name is Dierks Bentley," and I was like, "Yeah, I guess."
Fair.
Yeah,
I still can't believe it's his first album in 5 years.
Yeah, because I think The Mountain was his last one.
2018.
Right?
It feels like he's stayed so relevant. But it's been half a decade since his last album. That's a weird thought.
So I'm pretty sure in 2020 he released a single called "Gone," I think.
Yeah, that was 2020.
And he released a couple singles. He released "Gone" in 2020, and then he did "Beers on Me" in 2021 with Breland and Hardy. And then he had a song with Billy Stream. Oh wait, no, that one's on this album. But he had like those 2 songs, and I felt like when he released "Gone," he was like, I'm pretty sure he was like gearing up for a new album, and that I don't think the album that we just got is the album that we were going to get.
Yeah, you think?
I feel like we
fell through in between.
I think there was an album that was supposed to come out like 2 years ago. It had a vibe, like it actually has I don't mind the album cover, or the image he uses on the cover of Gone, that single.
Mm-hmm.
That single is also a little bit more popular than I realized. It has 60 million streams. I thought it was just okay. But I'll get to Gravel and Gold. I'm gonna start with the art, the album cover, because I haven't been able to decide if I like it or don't. I think the mountain is really cool because it's his like silhouette, and it's like faded. It's like the colors are faded and like desaturated, and then there's like a like picture of like some like woodland pines at like, but it's like it's like hard to describe, but I think it's just a cool kind of design for an album. And then this one is just a really big, like his forehead is very prominent, and he's like, what's he looking at? Is he like peeing at the urinal? Is he looking at his wang? Like what's he looking at down there?
What is going on?
And then what is he wearing? Because it kind of looks like he's wearing a suit, but it's so dark that I can't tell.
I love
and
this
so I don't.
breakdown. And
then everything is, he looks very, I don't know. And so the colors feel very kind of 2000-y to me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like a faded, like weird, like his skin is not that, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how to feel about the album cover. But I will say, this being my first like full in-depth Dierks album, I had a fairly pleasant experience. I think there's more good than, there's nothing like bad. There's nothing like, there's no Put It On Ice on this album. You know, there is a more consistent and higher bar, I think. The opener is actually one of the weaker songs, I think. It's one of those situations where I maybe would compare it to Brett Eldridge's last album.
Yeah.
Where the opener was kind of like I could take it or leave it, honestly.
Yeah.
But the next song, Sunsets in Colorado, is nice. I'm pretty sure Dierks, just from hearing it, I don't actually know for a fact, but just from hearing it, I feel like Dierks was a writer on that second track. I'm sure he probably was a co-writer on most of these. Mm-hmm. But so the ones that stand out to me the most though, Heartbreak Drinking Tour is a lot of fun. Third track. I really like Something Real. Cowboy Boots is probably the best song on the album with Ashley McBride. That one's a nice one. Gold is all right. The title, the kind of title track, because it talks about gravel and gold in the song, but the name of the song is just Gold. Walking Each Other Home, the 9th track, is pretty decent. And then High Note with Billy Strings is pretty fun. And all the other ones I didn't name were like passable, serviceable country songs. Like this is a solid record.
Yeah.
It's probably not one that I'm gonna come back to like all the time, but I added like 3 or 4 of the songs that I just named into the What Are We Listening To playlist. So they were good enough, I think, because I really enjoyed them. Specifically, Cowboy Boots. If you're if you're listening to the pod and you're like not sure if you want to listen to this album, I would say if you're on the fence about that, I would say just listen to the features. Listen to the Ashley McBride song and listen to the Billy Strings song. Also, I think it's stupid and funny that Dierks Bentley had a song with Billy Strings on an actual album before Luke Combs did. Like, Luke Combs has done a song with Billy Strings, and it's probably one of his best ones. And he just hasn't done another collaboration with Billy Strings, like, officially on an album, which I think is just kind of a missed opportunity.
We're getting one on this album either.
Yeah, I don't think we are. But yeah, this is a solid album. It makes me, at some point, I will probably, hopefully sooner than later, go back and listen to a Dierks album. Maybe I'll start with like Perm Dierks. You know,
I
don't
was
know.
always like quite a fan of, even though it's one of his like, I don't know, definitely some more moments of experimentation. I always kind of liked his Black album from 2016.
That's what a lot of people have said. A lot of people have said Black is pretty good. I do know the song Black. But that was a single, I'm pretty sure. And I know Somewhere on a Beach, but that was a single. And I know Different for Girls, but that was a single. I also know that I feel like a lot of people don't like that song.
Because it is kind of buns. It's just weird. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, it's different for girls, Evan. So,
like, shut up. No, it ain't. You're not special.
Is it like one of the? Is it a similar situation to like Chris Jansen Take a Drunk Girl Home, or is it?
It's like
because I feel like there was a little bit of like people were always like, "Ooh, that's creepy." Where I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like some people read into that song a little bit too much.
Dude, he's trying to help a girl. I've never understood the criticism of that song. People criticizing that, I'm like, just shut up. You're just looking for a place to be angry.
I think that's actually a pretty good song.
I like that song. Different for Girls is basically like when there's a breakup, it's different for girls. I forget the examples he used. Or let me... Does he have the lyrics posted here? Yeah, just saying that she can't just... girls can't just go to a bar and hang out with their friends to get over a breakup. It's like,
okay,
what?
Okay, actually, okay, yeah, okay. Now I'm remembering. So, I actually want to talk about that. Yeah, I disagree with that.
I think everyone.
Now,
does.
I will say I do. Maybe like I would say that probably I would say maybe maybe like over 50% of girls probably don't handle the breakups the same as some guys would. But there are definitely girls that after a breakup make horrible decisions and are toxic and do horrible things, just like some guys would. It goes both ways. Mm-hmm. So I get what the song is trying to say, but it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
you tried. You swung. You missed.
Yeah, you missed. But yeah, it's a decent album. So listen to it if you want to.
Should we?
I kind of feel bad for him because it like released, and I feel like it just kind of released, and I'm sure a lot of like the diehard Dierks fans are listening to it.
It was the week before Wallen. Like, yeah.
It
was
tough.
always going to be tough.
I do think Muscadine's actually getting similar streaming numbers to Dierks, and their albums came out.
Pretty much.
I think the Muscadine album came out. Oh, it was the same weekend, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, February 24th. So like, for Muscadine to still be independent and stuff, that's actually impressive. Still really pretty impressive. Yeah. Evan, what are you listening to?
It's crazy that you asked that because I have an album picked out in case anyone asked me. And so it's just crazy that you asked.
It's wild that we
This is going to go really out there. Like, this is so random. And it's a very popular album from a bit ago. So it's not like some obscure thing you've never heard of. I'm more just bringing it back to your attention because I had never actually listened through this album all the way. Okay. And so this is probably my most out there album I've ever brought in the sense of it just not remotely
being related. Is this a VeggieTales compilation album?
Dang it, bro! Called it.
It's the VeggieTales Jonah and the Big Fish like soundtrack
remix.
Some of the songs from that movie are bangers, bro.
They go crazy.
They go crazy.
I am bringing Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper because, I know it's so brutally out there, but I was just thinking. I forget even why or when, but I was just on a roll of like, or maybe it was when I was listening to Blonde, and I was just thinking of like 2016, way back in the day, what life was like in 2016. I just remember Chance the Rapper was the biggest deal, and then he had this like brutal fall off. Because his Big Day album sucked. And we were talking about, for some reason we were talking about Chance the Rapper at church because someone was like, hey, he did like a How Great Is Our God gospel version on his coloring book album. I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that, but everyone listened to it. So anyways, 7 years late to the party, I decided I'm going to check out Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper because everyone always loved it back in the day. And even though I was 7 years late, I really liked this album. And now it's kind of like it's starting to warm up a little bit, kind of. It's getting into summer slowly, and this album's helping me get in that mood. It's very much a summer album. It's very all over the place, but I kind of just mess with it. And I was thinking of what to bring. There's a few things I was going to bring. I was like, I could bring John Mayer, because I went to the John Mayer show. I could bring the new Drayton Farley album, because it's really good. I could bring numerous different like folk EPs that I've been listening to. But I was like, honestly, kind of just want to bring Coloring Book. And so here we are. I would say my favorite songs from Coloring Book, No Problem with Lil Wayne. When I heard it, I was like, okay, I've heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of a vibe. Same Drugs is actually a really good song. I do enjoy that. And then, like, low-key, the How Great with Jay Electronica. It's like the How Great Is Our God, but like a big choir version that turns into like a synth thing. It's really friggin' dope. And so it's really out there. Frankly, it probably would have made more, in retrospect, it would have made more sense for me to bring anything else that I mentioned, like the Drayton Farley album, like John Mayer, like any of the folk EPs. But I was like,
I mean, it's fine.
You know what? Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper is what I've been listening to. That's what we're gonna run.
Yeah. I don't know if I've talked about it much, but I still listen to rap a little bit on occasion, but I went through a decent, while it was minor, but I went through a rap phase like 8th grade and then like freshman year of high school, like a year and a half of my life. And like I listened to like G-Eazy like a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, every now and then I still go back to G-Eazy's first couple albums every now and then, and I'm like, just like, it goes so hard, bro. It just does. They go hard. And I'm like a lukewarm Kanye fan. I'm not even a fan. He has a couple songs that I know and that I enjoy.
I like Kanye's music.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning what he does in his spare time.
It's really funny because my buddy Joe is like, he would tell people, while hesitant sometimes, that he was a Kanye fan, but especially now that, like, I remember when the stuff started happening a few months ago, like the real stuff with like the weird like Hitler, that stuff. And Joe was like, man, Kanye's making it really hard right now.
He is making it hard, but here's the thing, right? So
yeah.
I'm just going to run through his albums real quick for you. So we got
Kanye?
The College Dropout. Yeah. College Dropout. Great album. Late Registration. Great album. Graduation. Phenomenal album. 808s and Heartbreaks. Not one of my favorites, but it's okay. It has its moments. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Fantastic album. Watch the Throne with Jay-Z. Pretty friggin' good album. Yeezus. Again, not my favorite Kanye album. In fact, it might be my least favorite, and I know that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Wait, which one?
Yeezus.
That's your least favorite, okay.
The Life of Pablo.
I know people really like that one.
Scattered, but very good. Yay. Arguably my favorite Kanye album, despite being very short. Phenomenal album. Kids See Ghosts, pretty good. Let me hold the thought on Yeezus, because I forgot about Jesus King. Jesus King. That we're gonna put that on the bottom.
Okay, that's tough. Okay,
I was scrolling through. Jesus King got you on the bottom. Donda, though.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Not
real
Donda
quick.
2. Hold on, let me finish.
On Jesus is
There's
King.
one left. There's one left.
No!
No. Donda, not Donda 2, whatever that mess was with the stem player, but Donda the original. Fantastic album. One of my favorites from Kanye. So, like, this is the problem. The dude makes insanely good music. But if Kanye were to drop an album tomorrow, right? I don't know if I could get behind it the way I can get behind any of his older music. So, sorry, you say your thing now.
On Jesus is King, which I have listened to a decent amount. Just because I was intrigued when it released.
I was too. I was just like, dang, you really had to do it like this? But then he corrected it with Donda. I was like, this is how you make spiritual rap friggin' cool. Jesus is King is kind of buns.
Well, I don't think it's bad. It's kind of just like a
did
straight...
you hear Closed on Sunday? Come on now. Also,
I did. Use This Gospel, though, on that album, I think I really enjoy it.
Fair.
And a big part of that is Kenny G's saxophone solo.
Fair.
I really like that song, like, a lot.
We need to talk about Closed on Sunday. We need to talk about Chick-fil-A. I went to Chick-fil-A for the first time because me and some friends were out of town, and on our way back, they were like, "Oh, should we stop at Chick-fil-A? Because there's not many in Canada." I was like, "Oh, I've never been."
You told this to me. We didn't talk about this on an episode, right?
Did we?
I don't know. You've told this to me, though. We talked about Chick-fil-A.
I forget.
Like me and you did.
Well,
it might have been after.
If this was not on an episode, then I'm going to tell it. If it was, I apologize. I'm still going to tell it.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Chick-fil-A's buns. We went there, and I was just super underwhelmed. I was like, wow, this is...
Yeah. And let me just say this. Evan got the wrong order. His
I
stupid...
got what my friends got.
Well, your friends are stupid, and you shouldn't listen to any more of their advice, because obviously they have zero brain cells. They told him to get a grilled chicken sandwich. Now, I'm sure there's some people that exist that enjoy that. But, like, just as a blanketed, like, factual thing that's just how life is, a breaded chicken sandwich is just going to taste better than a grilled chicken sandwich. Like, 100% of the time. Like,
across the board, or are you talking Chick-fil-A?
I mean, generally. Like, if you're at a good chicken place, the bread, and there's an option between grilled and breaded, like the Popeye's breaded chicken sandwich, busting. I've been told that KFC's chicken sandwich is pretty good. I've never had it. Chick-fil-A's breaded chicken sandwich is better than the grilled one. I think the grilled one is edible, but I can imagine it being underwhelming. But also, you're not supposed to order the grilled chicken sandwich, in my opinion. Like, that's not the thing to get at Chick-fil-A. It's you just like get a deluxe chicken sandwich with like a medium waffle fry, and then get you some honey mussy to go with the
salty fries.
Yeah. Also, but we did talk about this, I remember. Like, you could have just been at like, those Canadians maybe just didn't know what they were doing.
Oh, maybe.
Like, that's...
Okay. I forget if this is on the podcast or not, but I know we talked about this.
That's fine. We're talking about it. They can skip it if they want.
I think we
skip
did
ahead a
talk
few
about
minutes
it on the podcast, actually. Well. We definitely did. This was 100% when we went off about Begin Again. We started rambling for a while.
Oh my god.
We're 100%
You're right.
repeating ourselves from last week.
Bro, we're so... Yeah. We're sorry, but anyway...
Jaron, what are you listening to?
That's a possibility. I'm glad you asked, Evan, because...
Do you have an album ready too?
I do.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I actually don't really just have an album. I have like an artist, I guess.
Ooh.
I'm sure you've actually probably heard of the War and Treaty. They've been in the past year they've been a little bit more relevant, and I think some of that is politics. But they deserve it because they're really good. But sadly, I feel like they're getting a light shown them for political reasons and not because they're good. You know? Mm-hmm. So this is a duo, a black duo. They make kind of like country adjacent, like soul, bluesy, just really vibey music. And I would actually sometimes sonically, instrumentation wise, compare it to Micah Cook, or
Edwards.
Is that his name?
Micah Edwards.
Micah Edwards. I think Micah Cook was a guy I went to college with. I am getting tired. Yes, Micah Edwards. I would compare it a little bit to that, but they're very like they almost like, it's not gospel, but in terms of like sound, they like belt out a lot, you know, and you're gonna get that in gospel stuff. It's just really good.
I've heard people talking about this album.
Yeah, this is so their new album is called I think Lover's Game. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really good. It's really good. But I have heard, before this album came out, I had heard other stuff by them. And like Are You Ready to Love Me, which I think is off of their album from 2018. That's a really good track. 5 More Minutes is like probably still my favorite song by them, and it's like, it feels like a modern day classic to me. And almost in the same sense that like Ain't No Mountain High, you know that song? Ain't no mountain. Like,
no, I don't.
It
know
has
that
a
song.
Shut up, Evan. Look, sometimes you don't know things. Like, sometimes you don't know to not get a grilled chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. Okay? Anyway, it feels kind of like I'm not going to say it's hard to immediately say it just gives me a similar vibe, I guess, to that song. It's just so good. 5 More Minutes. But Lover's Game came out only like 2 weeks ago.
March 10th.
And it's like really good. And it only has 10 tracks. So that is like, chef's kiss. The 5th track, That's How Love Is Made, is really good. The title track, Lover's Game, is really good. I really liked Angel. The Best I Have was really good. Gosh, like they're just all... Have You a Heart, the closer, is really nice too. This is just a really, really good album. I was actually a little surprised at how good it was. Like I had heard their stuff before, but I was like,
they stepped it.
I was like, oh, hey now.
Wait a minute.
But this is a super vibey album. Like, I could see myself, like, I don't know. I'm a weird guy, and I listen to all kinds of different music. There's some albums or songs that like just make me want to roll my windows down and like drive really fast. And this album has like, some songs are just so happy on it that they just like, you just want to roll the windows down, and that makes me excited for summer too. You were talking about summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a really good album. So I would highly recommend checking out Lover's Game, but more specifically, I would just check out all of the Warren Treaty's music, all of it, because it's all really good.
Real quick on
what?
Oh, this is really random, but before, were you gonna move on?
Move on to the next
or
segment?
Did you have something else to say about Warren Treaty?
Nah, I don't have anything else.
On topic of what I'm truly listening to.
Oh, okay. Wow, Evan. Wow, Evan, you get to bring 2 different things. Wow.
No, I was just
Evan's...
scrolling through my library, and I forgot. I found this. I didn't know this was an actual song. I thought it was just a meme sound. But like, do you know the like wizard memes and stuff?
The wizard memes.
Like with like the old pictures of wizards and stuff. It's like me and the boys going to get the Tsar or something.
Oh, like medieval kind of meme things? Yeah.
So the song is actually on like streaming services called Gandalf Pack. And it's
the Gandalf Pack?
just Gandalf
Pack.
And if you look it up, it's by a guy named XAC.
Okay.
It goes absolutely crazy if you just want to listen to it in the back.
Okay. I'm looking it up right now.
Completing a side quest in real time when you listen to this song. That just I'm sorry, it's so random, but it just made me crack up because I was like, wait, this is on streaming. So if anyone wants a really, just truly enrapturing listen, Gandalf Pack by XAC is where I would point you. Because it's like right beside Coloring Book in like my library of stuff I've recently downloaded. Because I downloaded them at the same time. But yeah. Anyways, we can move on now to Who the Frick. Jaron's got it this week.
Yeah, I do have it. I'm stalling because I'm 33 seconds into Gandalf Pack.
And you're vibing like crazy. You're completing those side quests.
Yeah. What is the point of this?
It's just 2 minutes of that.
It's not even 2 minutes. It's a minute and a half. Oh, there's a sequel, Gandalf Pack 2.
I haven't heard Gandalf Pack 2 yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
What does Gandalf Pack mean? I don't know. Okay. Evan, are you ready to guess who the frick?
No.
Well, then get ready. I tried to make it so that you wouldn't get this one on the first go.
We've been on a roll of those.
Yeah. I the last episode, I did end up getting it, but it was a bit tricky. And that was also because it was a relatively smaller artist and they were not country. So that goes with the territory. So let's just jump into it. Doing my best Philip DeFranco.
Let's just jump into it.
Oh, he doesn't sound. I don't know about that. Okay. So, are you ready?
I am.
Did you nod?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't looking at you. I had my document.
I audibly said I'm ready.
I didn't hear you say I'm ready. That's actually really weird. I didn't hear anything. I said, "Are you ready?" and I just heard dead silence. I didn't hear anything.
I said I'm ready.
Your recording probably picked it up and I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. This artist used to work in the meatpacking industry.
That's so sus. You got to know how relentlessly we bullied one of our friends. And going back to high school days, one of our friends, who we all love, he was one of our he was.
I like how all I had to do was give a clue, and this immediately led into a story.
Because he was everyone's favorite person, and he finally got. And we always joked about him not having a job, and he finally got a job, and it was in the meat department at Walmart. And we were like, "Bro, there's no way with your head held high you can come in and say you have a job handling meat for a living." I'm sorry. Artist was in the meat handling department.
They were meat pack. Sorry.
That really doesn't.
I didn't think about it like that until you said that. The meat. It's okay. So this is the artist used to work in the meat packing industry.
The thing is, unless I know this doesn't help at all. Like
I was banking on you either. Like, because I pulled this off of Wikipedia, which that's where I always get this stuff, right? So, like, I was hoping. I know that you have read some artists like Wikipedia's before. So I was hoping that this was something that
I feel like Chris Jansen's worked with some meat in his time.
That Chris Jansen has handled a little bit of meat.
Chris Jansen, like I don't know.
That's a solid guess. I think it's a solid guess. Like based off of that,
we think would want to work with meat.
Right. Rest in peace, Chris Jansen. Yeah, so that's incorrect. So we'll go to the second one. This artist has had 3 tracks get within the top 10 on the U.S. country airplay chart.
So they're really not huge. Or they're new. Oh, maybe they're new. Because Bailey Zimmerman totally could have worked in a meat department. I'm sorry. It's so fun. I'm trying to narrow it down by people that I could see working with meat.
That's funny. I don't know.
They're either new or not huge. What
if
Bailey's had 3 in the top 10? He's had Rock and a Hard Plate. I don't even know if that's a horrible guess.
What is he? Rock in a Hard Place.
Fall in Love, and then maybe like Where It Ends.
Where It Ends isn't even that good.
But it was kind of big,
I guess.
And now, okay. Now he's dropping an album with quite possibly the worst album cover. Oh my gosh.
No, I heard about him dropping an album. I didn't see the cover, but I saw the name. It's like religiously
the
album. And it's like,
why are we calling albums the album? And the cover is horrendous, and it takes all the big songs from his Leave a Light On EP and just slaps them on here for streaming numbers. It's really weird. I can't express my hatred for the album cover enough.
I'll look at it in a second.
So bad. The tears on his eyes, the font, Okay, so they've had 3 songs in the top 10 and they work with meat.
They did work with meat prior, and we don't know. Like, they could have been a. We don't know when this was.
I'm gonna just say Bailey Zimmerman.
I hate you.
Is it Bailey Zimmerman? Is it?
Yeah. The thing is, when you said he looks like he would work in the meat packing industry, I was like, the thing is, like, he does. Like, he looks like a dude, like, fresh out of high school.
It's Bailey.
He looks like a dude that, like, fresh out of high school, went to work in the meat packing industry for 2 years.
That was my thought process, and I worked it out. I was like, yeah, he's had 3 songs out of 10. Run it.
Yeah, now I'm pretty sure you would have gotten it. The third clue.
What was the final clip?
Was this artist released their debut single in January of 2021, which entered the top 20 of Spotify's viral chart in the United States. Excuse me.
Definitely would have narrowed it down pretty.
I feel like you would have narrowed it down if you hadn't at least, like, gotten it there.
Dude, that's...
The thing is, Chris Jansen and Bailey Zimmerman, who else? Like, maybe Upchurch?
No, bro, he's too busy, like, rioting or something.
Too busy vandalizing.
Yeah. Who else looks like they would work in a meat department?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's just Chris Jansen and Bailey Zimmerman. Maybe modern day Billy Currington. Like, maybe, like, Billy Currington right now. Like, he didn't used to, but now he does.
I don't hate that. Why does Ashley McBride give me those vibes too? I can see her with, like, a hairnet on.
Tough L. Like... Well, I'm not gonna lie. Just her kind of vibe. She definitely... Ashley's not your stereotypical, like Barbie blonde, like, country star, you know? And that's not to bash on her. I'm not. She is an amazing musician. She's talented. I'm trying to avoid us, like, bashing on her, but she has a lot of tattoos.
Female artists. Like,
yeah, she has a lot of tattoos, and she just kind of has that, like, that white trashy vibe.
I thought she kind of gives off like cranky aunt vibes.
Just from looking at her, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like...
She's a sweetheart if you listen to her interviews.
Yeah, she seems like a very pleasant person to be around. I don't know. I feel like there's one that's like it's there. Oh, Jason Aldean. He could pack meat all day. He could pack meat all day.
He can like suck my meat with how bad his music is, but like...
Hey,
I couldn't see him in the industry, man.
Oh, I could. There's an alternate universe. There's a Rick and Morty universe where Jason Aldean did not get big, and he's just been packing meat in the back of a Walmart.
The Muscadine boys. You know what? I could see it. Don't tell me.
I could see them doing, like, anything. I could see them being astronauts together. Like, as long as they're together, they could conquer the world.
But separate.
Separate? I don't know. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't even be able to pack meat.
Tragic. Well, we should probably draw this episode to a close.
Tragic.
This has been a beefy episode.
A meaty episode.
Well, I meant beefy as like...
Yeah, as in meat. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I tried to make a joke, Jaron.
Well, it wasn't good, and you've already disappointed me enough this episode. Again, you've disappointed me a second time about the same thing. I just can't believe that you thought it was a good idea to get a grilled chicken sandwich at a chicken place. It's like going to... No, I can't even... All right, this is the end of the episode. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Waves on the Shore. If you feel inclined, leave a comment and a review. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can find us both on Instagram, @TheWavesOnTheShore, and at our personal accounts, @TheOvershore and @JepWatts.